Quote, there's no time for us. There's no place for us. What is this thing that builds our dreams, yet slips away from us? There's no chance for us. It's all decided for us. This world has only one sweet moment set aside for us. Quote, unquote. And behind the chorus of this record, the synth, then the orchestration swells beneath the chorus, and it bursts right out. I mean, the BPMs, then the beats, the trance beats storm right out of the gate. This is an epic record. This is I don't know how to put this. An epic that's a remake of an epic. Now, how beautiful is that? The song is at number 3 on my fantasy playlist. This is pronouncing. This is singing from atop the mountains, proclaiming your angst or whatever, your pain or whatever, to the world below or above or whatever. It's just got that oracle, that theatrical. It's hard. It is hard, perhaps impossible, to beat the theatrical flamboyance of Freddie Mercury, who sang on the original. But this guy, I can't pronounce his last name, Paul Bartolome. I got the pronunciation off of YouTube, but I can't get it. Bartolome. Boy, he sure comes close. I don't know anything about this guy. I checked out his Facebook, I believe he's British. But boy, he's got a phenomenal voice. He's got a set of pipes. As someone told me, this is an expression I picked up from somebody years ago. The song is called, well, it's at number 3 on my fantasy playlist, Who Wants to Live Forever. It's by DJ Xquizit with Paul Bartholomew. I just call him Paul. How about that? Xquizit and Paul, Who Wants to Live Forever, at number 3 on my fantasy playlist, down from number 1 because this is an epic record. It is a masterpiece. At number 3 on my fantasy playlist, February 13, 2022. I read the lyrics. I got that done. I talked about the record a little bit. Now I'm trying to figure out where I need to start. Do I need to start on the history of the record, or do I need to talk about the DJ? I'll talk about the DJ first. The DJ behind, he's a teenager. He's just a teenager. But, I mean, he's been in the business for a short time, but he's making waves. His name is Xquizit. He's from Mexico. And he's a rising star in the trance scene. He's been featured in radio shows such as Global Therapy, which is sponsored by another dance act, a BPM act or trance act called Above and Beyond. And that's pretty exciting right there, Above and Beyond. I got several of theirs on my fantasy playlist. And another dance radio show called A State of Trance, which is sponsored by Armand Van Buren. He's been on those radio shows. It's Exquisite. And now, a few years ago, he was introduced to a fellow named Osito. Never heard of him. Osito. That's how you spell his name. He's from Salt Lake City, and he's probably more of a pop as opposed to a trance or dance musician. As a matter of fact, I love his tagline. His tagline, quote, "Pop is not a crime," unquote. Hell yeah, it's not a crime at all. Not a crime at all. Disco is not a crime at all. Hard rock is not a crime at all. And here we are. So Osito, they collaborated. It was it was definitely a most prolific, prosperous collaboration they had so far. They came out with a song, Osito, I'll just pronounce it Osito, and Xquizit. They came out with a song called Dear Gravity. It was picked up big time on Spotify, 1 million streams. Appeared on one of Spotify's prime dance playlists called The Mint. It was on The Mint for a month. And they came out with a more pop-sounding record after that called No Time to Die. Another song that picked up 1 million streams on Spotify. I love this term. This term I'm going to give you. I wish I came up with it. God, I wish I came up with it. But here's the term that describes the song No Time to Die. And it would also describe this record too. synthwave / pop hybrid. I love that. Synthwave, pop hybrid. That's another cool term right there. You learn these cool terms all the time. Now let's get to the original version. Original version by Queen is from their album called The King of Magic, and it was released in June of 1986. Now this record, the Queen version of the record, it's reminiscent. They've gone back to a little bit of their opera, sort of their opera rock and roll they did in songs like Bohemian Rhapsody, We Are the Champions, and that there was Fat Bottom Girls and the song and the piece of music that preceded that. I'm trying to remember. Bicycle. God, that was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant song by Queen. But anyway, they went back to that route when they did this record, except it's less rock and more strings. The song is a lot more encased in strings and orchestration. And the video featured the National Philharmonic Orchestra that played on this record, the original record by Queen. Now, the song is real. Here's the thing, and I can't resist this. I know I shouldn't do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. What the heck? It's past midnight now. Monday night, Tuesday morning, beginning of the week. Queen was losing momentum here in the States by the early 80s. Now, they had that huge hit, Another One Bites the Dust. That was top. That was, I think that went to #1. And they did Body Language in 1982. That was a funky record. Nobody remembers that, though, unfortunately. It was a good record. Went to #11, I think. Their last really big hit that I remember they did here in the States was Radio Gaga, and that was in 1984. And that was sort of a opera type record, rock and roll record right there. So is this record right here. But this record is fondly remembered, is fondly embraced. The original version, I forgot the name of it. Once again, Who Wants to Live Forever, fondly embraced by a lot of Queen fans. Rolling Stone, according to Rolling Stone magazine, the readers of Rolling Stone voted this record, Who Wants to Live Forever, their 5th favorite song by Queen. And this poll was ran in 2014. But it did not do well at the time. It was not quite as embraced back in 1986 when this song came out. It did not chart here in the States. As a matter of fact, just 15, 20 minutes ago, I looked at some of my old fantasy playlists from the 80s to see if I could find the record. Couldn't find the original version by Queen. I'm sure Queen fans will probably kill me for that. Why did you not put that on your fantasy playlist? Probably didn't see it on Night Tracks. Was not played on the radio here, at least here in Alabama. However, the song did go to #6 in the Netherlands. The original version went to #6 in the Netherlands, went to #24 in England in 1986. Went gold. Achieved gold status in England in 1986. So there we go. Oh, it was featured on a film called Highlander, the original version. But boy, I tell you, I highly, if you like that trance music, Xquizit and Paul, I'll just call him Paul. They took this record and they revised it. They did a different take on it. They funneled the original version. They funneled this record through a trance ecosystem, and this thing is pulsating. Absolutely a heartbeat. Heartbeat away from epic status. Maybe less than a heartbeat away. Ooh, boy, I've been listening to it for weeks, this record. I'll lay in the bathtub, in warm water and listen to this record. Boy, man, this sounds really good, man. It starts slow. It's almost a cappella. The way he sings and the sense builds up, you can see the song building to a climax which just ruptures into BPM beats, house beats, trance beats. We're going trance, baby. I love it. Well, okay, all right. Xquizit, Paul Bartolome. Well, at #3 on my fantasy playlist with an old Queen record. Who Wants to Live Forever at #3. Fantasy playlist, February 13th, 2022.